There's this story that is making rounds on social media about a lady who placed a bet of 2,000 Kenyan shillings and she won 264,000 Kenyan shillings. Imagine. So what looked like success to her turned out to be a betting addiction, a gambling addiction that has affected her relationships, has affected her business, and has affected her personal life, her economic life. So with the 264,000 Kenyan shillings, she decided to invest in cows that she gifted her parents. I mean, a cow is a good investment, right? You get milk that you get to sell. So it's a good thing to buy your parents, considering that your parents live in the countryside. But in the name of betting, the fact that she was so addicted, she had to get back those cows. She had to sell those cows in the name of an emergency that had popped up. But it was an addiction. You can imagine, you've never seen 264,000 Kenyan shillings in your life. Well, at least appearing once. Betting creates that illusion that you can make more. It's why people continue betting. You lose, then you win. You lose, then you win. So it's more of, one, an economic problem. Because even when you look at the demographics of the people who are placing bets in some of these gambling betting platforms in Kenya, the people in the informal sector, well, even people in the formal sector do that, but it's just that people who are economically disadvantaged are the ones who see this as an investment, as a quick way of getting money. This lady recalls how she had a successful business, a successful hotel in Uthiru. That's where she was. She had a business, and how it all failed. In fact, the only reason why she decided to stop betting and to make a turnaround was that she was involved in a police case. So she had to stop because she knew what she was looking at. You can imagine, you are involved in a police case. The next thing that you expect to do is to go to jail. Who knows, you might end up stealing, you might end up doing crazy things in the name of betting. So betting is definitely an addiction that stems from lack or stems from having the illusion that you have to make money fast. You don't have to put effort. Well, you might put effort when you are betting, but having that illusion that there's a way that you can make quick money very fast just by placing a bet is a lie. There's also another story of another guy, a young guy who was supposed to go abroad. So he had like 2.8 million shillings. The 2.8 million shillings was for his studies. Go abroad, pursue education, come back. That guy ended up betting the 2.8 million shillings. He lost. He was even making a pledge to the politicians to help him because he's decided to stop and start afresh again. So these are some of the stories that we hear. These are the ones that have been highlighted in social media, but there are certain stories that we know of, one, ourselves, or the friends and families that you've seen become addicted to betting, to gambling. So these stories are not new. We all know that person that so and so placed a bet and lost all the money and disgraced his parents. We all know these stories. Apart from betting taking advantage of your economic disadvantage, the other thing is that betting takes advantage of your psychological behavior. Think about this lady. She bets 2,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings, 2,000 shillings. She wins 264,000 Kenyan shillings. She's happy. She's like, okay, let me try another bet. Then she does 10 other bets. She doesn't win. But there's that hope. There's that hope that she might probably win. So you place another bet. You now get to win 8,000 shillings again. Then you place another bet. You lose. Just when you're about to give up, then you win. So it's a continuous process. It's psychological. You can see that some of these gambling companies take advantage of, one, our economic well-being, because I don't think, or probably there is, you know what, there is. I'm not crossing out the fact that rich people don't do betting. It's just that it's more prone in the informal sector and people who don't make much. Betting takes advantage of your lack, and the psychological behavior, and it's actually become a business. It's a big business here in Kenya. We've had big betting companies, Aviator, there was a time we had SportPesa. In fact, this is quite common in our radio stations because it's still there. It's still there. It was just the other day I was listening to one of the radio stations, and they like bringing up the success stories. They tell the story of the guy who, okay, I placed, this was like my 10th bet and I won 560,000 Kenyan shillings. And the guy who's giving the testimony goes ahead and says, you know what, I'm going to do another bet. I'm going to try another bet. And what's even sad is that for most of them, they usually say that they're going to use this bet money to pay school fees for their children. So it's not really an investment that brings in cash flow per se. It's more of, okay, I'm going to pay school fees, then I'm going to pay some of my debts, and that's it. So even how that money is going to be used, it's not in a productive way. Not to dismiss your child's education, but you need to put your money by setting up something like a business, by setting up something that is going to bring you cash flow. So the common story is, like I said, somebody calls in the television station. In fact, it's the presenters who call the winner, and the winner is so happy, so excited that he won this, and this was like his 5th time doing that. So for me as a listener, on the other end, I'm like, okay, let me try out this bet. Let me try out this bet. Because we already have a success story, and it's quite common. Most of these betting companies here in Kenya advertise in radio stations and also in the television stations. And in fact, right now, they are using influencers. Very well-known people, very popular people are advertising betting companies, which, of course, it's not a bad thing. It depends on your values. But my point is, when you're betting, there's more loss than gain. Just remember, for the person who you've had on the television station or who you've had in the radio station who has called in or is being called, and he's happy and excited that he's won, for every win, there's a loss. It's a zero-sum game. It's a zero-sum game. Somebody has to lose for somebody to gain because it's not an investment. That money that you're sending to that till, to that bank account, is a bet. It's not growing. It's just me having a can of, let's say, green balls, and there's one red ball amongst 100 balls, and whoever picks it gets to win. So look at the probability of even winning. Out of 100 balls, what's the probability that you're going to get a red ball? It's the same thing. So the illusion of making quick money and getting out of poverty, because let's all agree that that is one of the main reasons why people bet, because they can make more money in a short period of time and they don't want to be poor, or they want to make money, they're ambitious. It's something that is being taken advantage of. You can see that from the story of this lady. Eventually she had to stop when she hit rock bottom. It's also the case for this other guy, the one who placed a bet using the money that he was supposed to use to go study abroad. You realize your wrongs once you've hit rock bottom, and sadly, that's the truth. So the solution is you have to start over again and not bet at all. Not bet at all. Sadly, these companies are registered in Kenya and there's nothing that can be done. Yes, they are taxed, but they are allowed to operate legally. So there's nothing that you can do about that. But what you can do as an individual is to know that that money that you are placing a bet on, that 2,000 Kenyan shillings, that 3,000 Kenyan shillings, use that money to learn skills that can make you an income. There's no easy way out. There's no easy way out, and the easiest way out is psychological. It's addiction. Use that money, invest that money in skills that can make you more money. Use that money to expand your business if you already have a business. And if you're somebody who has won money from one of these betting companies, don't use your money for consumables. At least invest your money. Invest your money in something that can bring in cash flow. The other thing is that you have to realize that the testimonials that we see of the winners, it's all part of marketing. It's just marketing. think about the probability of you winning. It's definitely an illusion. So don't let those testimonials that you see going around that I just made 2 bets and I won 1 million. Yes, it happened for them, but the chances and the likelihood of that happening to you is less. So just see it as a bet, as it is, and not an investment. And the thought of you getting out of poverty through betting is also an illusion. It's also an illusion. You have to put in the hard work. If you're somebody who has ever been addicted to betting, or once upon a time you used to bet, or you still struggle with betting, I'd love to know your thoughts on the comments. What is that one advice that you can give someone who is struggling with betting? And if you're listening to this across Kenya, so you're not in Kenya, you are in East Africa, you are around from whichever country, I'd love to know how betting works in your country. Has it taken a toll in some of the people you know and also in your country? Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.